Good evening and welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, so I'm going to start, as I always do, by showing you the guests we have in my green room. First up, a superstar actor with enormous range. You know him from Love Actually, Schindler's List, Star Wars, Taken. It is, of course, Liam Neeson, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, we have one of the most exciting young British actors working today. From Game of Thrones and the huge new series The Last of Us, it's Bella Ramsey. Hello, Bella. I'm a huge fan. Bella Ramsey. Alongside them, one of my favourite guests who seems to have a permanent twinkle in her eye, it's Mel Giedroyc. Lovely Mel. And we also have on the show tonight a BAFTA-nominated comedian, the very, very funny Munya Chawawa. We also have, I'm thrilled to say, some fabulous music for you tonight. A unique performer with an incredible voice. I'm a big fan. I'm sure you will be too. It's Lady Blackbird. And that's an outfit right there. Before I get my guests out of here, you know, it was the Oscars this weekend that's just gone by. My favourite moment of the Oscars, the thing I most enjoy about it is seeing what the stars turn up wearing. It's the outfits. And there was one outfit in particular that caused a bit of controversy this year. It was the one worn by singer-songwriter Thames. Let me show you. Have a look at this. There it is. That's the outfit, which is beautiful. Looks amazing, doesn't she? Until you find out that you're the person who's going to be sitting behind her. It'd be like watching the Oscars through the body of a ghost, wouldn't it? Or like a lovely, lightly poached egg. That man behind you had to sit like that for 3.5 hours. But I feel like, once again, there was one group criminally underrepresented at the Oscars this year. That's right, pets. Thought we might have a few pet lovers in this evening. So I'd like to do our own version of the awards. This is the Pet Oscars, ladies and gentlemen. Here they are. Here are the nominees for Best Dramatic Performance. Have a look at this.
Scared. It's just cutting your nails. I'm not gonna hurt you.
There she goes. She's dead.
I can't choose. I'm going to give them all an Oscar. Should we get on with the show? Why don't we? Let's get my first guest out here. It's Bella Ramsey and Mel Giedroyc. It's lovely to have you. I've got to say, Bella, I love your outfit. That's the best outfit we've ever had on this show.
It's amazing.
Ever. In the history of outfits. You know, I've been talking about the Oscars a bit there. Mel, what awards have you won in your career?
So when we did Bake Off, yes, we won a BAFTA.
Wow.
We won a BAFTA.
Come on, well deserved. Well deserved. That was the golden age of Bake Off.
Quite a few years ago, I have to say. Quite a few years ago.
And how was the evening for you? Because it can be tense if you're nominated for an award. That's a tense evening.
Oh, man. It was... the pacing was all wrong for us. We started having some drinks, but sort of at midday/11 in the morning, Sue and I absolutely lathered come 2 o'clock, come 5 o'clock when you're supposed to be there, looking a bit sort of rough, feeling a bit all over the shop. So I was chewing gum. I thought, get rid of the old, awful, dead Prosecco breath. And I was chewing loads of gum, and we were sitting in the audience having a real laugh, Perks and I having a great time. And then it was announced that we'd won. Piece of chewing gum flew in a beautiful arc into the hairdo of the woman sitting in the row in front. And it turned out she was a sort of slightly important BBC exec.
Yeah.
And I could see it was just stuck in the beehive.
Oh.
Bella, you've never done anything like that.
No, but I do have gum in my mouth right now, so I'm getting a bit worried.
Where is it?
I'm very good at hiding
Where
it.
the heck is it?
Well, you can look
I
at my
didn't
mouth and try
notice
and
it.
find it if you want.
Have you tucked it under the tongue?
It's like stuck to my top teeth.
That's a good skill.
Yes.
Where have you learned this
I
gum?
learned it from Pedro Pascal, actually.
Really?
He's the chief. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's the chief gum hider.
Well, we should mention, because not everyone has seen it, of course, but Pedro Pascal co-stars in the amazing The Last of Us with Bella. And the two of you, I can't imagine that isn't real, that friendship that we see on screen there.
It's very real. Imagine if it was all fake. That
Yeah.
would be rough. No,
That'd be acting.
I'll be acting. That'd be true acting.
But
No,
you
it's very real.
you really become close, haven't
I
you?
love him. I miss him, actually.
Where is he now? Where is he
He's
now? What's he
in
doing?
Los Angeles, living his best life. The Mandalorian's just come out, so he's very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, big whoop. I still haven't seen it. I need to
He's
watch
so
it.
good. And had you met him before you started the show, or was it when you got the parts?
No, so we were both on Game of Thrones, but in different seasons.
Yeah.
He died long before. Sorry if anyone hasn't seen
Yeah.
it. He died long before I got there.
Can I ask how old you are now, Bella?
I'm 19.
19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 19. Because you play, is she 15 in The Last of Us, the character you play?
Yeah, 14, 15.
14, 15. And so how old were you when you got the part in Game of Thrones?
I was 11 years old.
11.
It's my first job.
So then, am I
Yeah.
right in thinking that you probably hadn't seen the show when you got the part?
No, absolutely. I was far too little.
Mel, have you watched The Last of Us yet?
Right, Bella. You're amazing in it. Can I just say?
Thank you.
I've only seen one episode because I was too scared. I was too scared. I never realised how quickly zombies move. But is that a thing?
Well, it's not
Do
real.
they
I mean, you know it's not real.
But do they always move? Do they always move that quickly? Because that really freaked me out.
The show couldn't be bigger, though. I think the last episode, when it went out, it got 30... Well, it's been getting 30 million viewers per episode.
What?
Which is extraordinary. A huge hit here, but it's a huge hit all over the world. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Due in
Wow.
no small part to your performance. And has life changed for you? Have you found... Obviously, I know people recognised you when you're on Game of Thrones, but since this, it must have gone to a whole new level. So do you get recognised more now?
Yeah, I do. It's more consistent. It's more like every time I go out now.
And what sort of response?
In Pret the other day, eating some soup and then... I
Which
had
soup was it? Was it
tomato?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great one.
I
It's
like
my
that one.
favourite.
The tomato's good.
Yeah.
The chicken one's good as well with the brown rice.
I'm vegan.
That's
Oh,
not-
sorry, you're vegan. I'm sorry. No, I'm
Also,
sorry.
that's
It's
not the
all right, I let you
takeaway from this story. What soup is good at Pret? And what sort of reaction did you get? What do they... how do people engage?
Yeah, so it was, people are very sweet most of the time. I've not really had bad experiences yet, but it's sometimes just at awkward times, like I'm eating my soup and I spill it all down me, or when I'm like waiting in line for the toilets in Pancras Station. That was the first time I ever got recognised.
So you're waiting in the line outside the toilet, or
Yeah,
inside
yeah.
the toilet, and then someone came up and said,
Are you from the... Actually, what should I do? Are you from the television? And I
Wow.
say, yeah. If, depending on what, like, thing you've seen. And then, but yeah, then the queue goes down and I need a wee.
Yeah.
And I say, look, we'll chat after. And I was like 12 or something.
yeah. Oh, my God. That's a very cool response. We chat after.
Yeah.
Laters. But we haven't explained yet what the show is. How would you explain it to someone who hasn't seen it?
It's a post-apocalyptic backdrop. It's the story of really Ellie and Joel. Ellie meets Joel. Ellie's just like this random kid who turns out to be immune to this virus. And Joel is a hardened survivor tasked with smuggling her across the US in search of a cure. So that happens, and along their way they meet a lot of people.
And zombies feast on people's necks and
No.
rip them open.
Not really.
They do.
No, they're... Look.
They
No,
do.
you haven't seen it. Why are you telling us what's in a show you clearly haven't watched? It's cordyceps.
Cordyceps.
And this is sort of a real thing. This is a real thing in the world, isn't it?
Cordyceps is real. Like, this could theoretically, it's scientifically...
Oh, don't
well,
say
possible.
that. Is this going to happen?
Well, it
Bella,
might.
is this...
Well, we hope not.
And cordyceps are mushrooms, aren't they?
Quite-
Spooky mushrooms.
Quite a few
Yeah.
scientists think this might happen.
Oh, stop it. I don't want to know that.
OK, let's have a look. So that's what it is. It's kind of a love story. It's a beautiful relationship story, but it's set against the backdrop of a virus, and they have to get across country, and they face any number of challenges. Have a look at this. See, that was tense rather than too scary, wasn't it?
You did jump out of your seat, to be
Come
fair.
on, Mel, you've woken up at student parties and seen things like that. So if you haven't watched it, it's available on loads of digital platforms now, so you can find it and watch them all. There's only 9 in this series.
Just 9, yeah.
And I can't wait for the next series, and I think I know the answer, but how soon can we get to see the next series?
It'll be a while. I think we'll probably shoot, like, end of this year, beginning of next, and then it's like a year filming. So it'll be probably end of, like, 24, early 25.
I could talk about... we will talk about The Last of Us more. I'll talk about it all right, but we should mention that Mel, and this is very exciting news, Mel is about to become the co-host of the Eurovision Song Contest stage.
Well,
You'll be I believe, the first woman to do UK commentary.
I'll be in the commentary box. I'm not going to be doing 100% because Graham Norton is going to be presenting on stage and he's going to be bobbing betwixt the box and the stage. But I'll be in the little darkened burrow of the commentary box.
And you must, I'm sure, I get the feeling you've always been a fan of Eurovision.
Oh, I mean, I'm upset. Do you like it, though?
Yes.
I mean, it's so good. It's going to be so brilliant this year. We're in Liverpool.
Yeah.
I know, it's amazing, it's amazing. And we're hosting on behalf of Ukraine. It's going to be very poignant and very powerful. We've got a great UK entry in May Muller. I think she's going to be just superb. I love her, love her. And if you are lucky enough to ever go to a Eurovision...
Well, if we knew anyone who hosted it, we could get an
We
invite.
tried to get tickets.
Did you try?
We were on the website and it was all sold out within like 2 minutes.
It was. Listen, I don't know what I can do. I don't hold much sway at all. But I'll try and get everyone in, OK?
Thanks. Holding you to it.
No.
And so did you have parties? Did you used to have watching parties of it? Did you used to watch it? How many groups?
Yeah. I remember really clearly, we used to be filming Bake Off when Eurovision was on, and used to get Mary, Paul, Sue, my good self, always in white toweling dressing gowns because we were in a hotel. The little there we are! With white... Mary, quite cut, actually, there. You can see the little glass.
Yeah.
Little comedy slippers. And it was so fun. We had little parties in our hotel room.
But you mentioned Mary enjoyed a drink there, and of course, on the show famously, Terry Wogan, who hosted it for so many years, you could hear him getting visibly affected, or sort of like you could hear in his voice he was being affected by the alcohol throughout the course of the evening. Graham enjoys a drink during the show. He makes no secret of that.
Yes.
Will you be joining them? Will you be having a little espresso martini?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No, because, well, no. I'll wait. I think Terry used to wait till song 11. Or he said he waited till song 11 and then he had a snifter. But no, if I have a whiff of an alcoholic drink, it'll be game over. So I've got to keep sharp. And of course, I'll be having a drink. I'll be having loads of drinks. It would be rude. It would be rude.
But I think I've probably seen you drunk more often than I've seen you sober.
Oh.
No, it's not a bad thing.
Dear.
No, because but it doesn't take much to get you drunk, does it?
No,
You're a lightweight.
I'm a lightweight, Bella. How are you?
I've never tested the waters.
You must have. You're old enough to drink now, of course.
I'm old enough to drink, but I wasn't like around people my age when drinking was a thing, so I've just never done it.
Avoid the purple parachute if you can.
The purple parachute.
I don't even know if they still exist, but it was what us young'uns used to drink when we were teens. Purple parachute. It's lager, cider, and then something purple. I don't know what.
Goodness.
And Sue, my comedy partner, we were students together, and she lost me one time, and she said she found me via the splats of purple parachute on the street. Like E.T. when he's following the little, sweets. She found me.
Where was it coming from?
Incredible.
From my mouth. Oh! Sorry.
Which, let's face it, is probably the nicer answer we could have expected. OK, so you're hosting Liverpool.
Hosting Liverpool.
You spent much time there before?
I've done gigs in Liverpool, always had an absolutely tremendous time. Such a great city. We had a few gigs there, again, Sue and my good self, and what happened? I'm sure something happened. Which eludes me now. Something bad. I remember what happened. We did a gig in Liverpool, we were on tour, staying at the same hotel as the Tory party conference.
A natural fit.
I mean, and we had a drummer in our band, and he was 3 sheets to the wind, and we had to pull him off Edwina Currie.
Wow.
He was, because he got angry. He didn't share the politics of Edwina Currie. Her minder stepped in, this posh guy in a bow tie, had to physically pull him off. I got between him and I saved Edwina Curry, basically.
Well, that speaks very highly of you as a person.
Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Different times, Bella.
Different time. Can you do the accent?
Liverpool, I won't, because you know,
Because you've got to go there.
I've got to go there, exactly.
How are you with accents, Bella? You good?
I can do accents.
Well, you do a great American accent. I thought you were American. I didn't realise it, because you're from Nottingham.
I was born in Nottingham, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your go-to accents, if you had to...
Scottish is one. I never used to be able to do Scottish, and then I was so happy the day that I could.
OK, could we hear some Scottish from
Do
you?
you really want to hear
Yeah,
Scottish accent?
I'll give it a
We'll
go.
speak in Scottish for a second together. No, I'm embarrassing myself. Okay, no, let's have a conversation.
Well, it depends where you're from. Where are you from?
I don't know, I'm like a mixture.
You're great.
You fancy some haggis?
I'd love some haggis.
Some
You're
iron.
brilliant. You're brilliant.
This is like a weird... I kind of felt like I was watching a weird version of Gogglebox. We're going to take a break. Don't go away, because in a few moments we'll be joined out here by Liam Neeson. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out. He's given incredible performances in some of my favourite movies of all time. He's in Schindler's List, of course, Star Wars, so many other great movies. He's one of those actors who, when he's in a film, you know it's going to be great. It is the brilliant Liam Neeson. That's all we want. That's all we want. It's showbiz. Great to see you. This is Mel, and this is the amazing Bella Ramsey.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Bella.
Come on in, Liam. You're sitting up here. You're sitting up here.
Yeah, go for it.
Liam, it's so lovely to have you back on the couch. Thank you for joining me again.
It's been a few years.
It has, but thank you for joining me again.
Great to be here.
You know what's amazing? It's been a few years, but if anything, you look younger. You look amazing.
Yeah.
How are you keeping in such good shape? It does help. Can't buy you everything, but it can buy you youth, ladies and gentlemen. No, but do you exercise? Do you work out? Do you have a regime?
You have to raise the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Power walking.
Yeah.
Oh, I
A
love
bit of
that.
rowing.
Bit of rowing.
And so,
Sex.
but do you power walk?
Joking, of course.
But it's amazing, because Liam, you will not believe this, Liam is, I hope you don't mind me, 70 years old.
Stop it. Stop it.
Looks like a baby. Looks like you and Bella are in the same class at school. Look at that. But do you walk outdoors, or do you have a machine indoors? Where do you like to walk?
I live in New York. When I'm in the city, I use Central Park.
You go for a walk around on your own, or do you like
No,
company?
I have a walking partner, lovely lady, Amy. We've been walking for 15, 16 years.
And
I
just-
met her husband. I have to tell you this. I met her husband for the first time at this premiere of a movie of mine. And I saw Amy, and I went over to her, and I saw him. I said, Jay, I have to tell you right now. Hi, Liam. Amy and I are not having an affair.
If someone said that to me, I would think 100% they're having an affair.
You're right.
Because that's like you're trying to hide in plain sight.
Yeah, I know.
Have you learned nothing from your film?
No. But you're right. I realised that as the words left my mouth. It was like,
Did he believe you?
I think he did.
Good, good. Because it's the truth, of course.
Yes. What's the truth?
Yeah. You know what? You've just made, this is incredible. Liam's here because he has a great new movie out. It's called Marlowe. Okay, it's a kind of film noir detective film, like a classic, but with a modern take on it as well. It's in cinemas now, and also it's available on Sky Cinema. But this is, I don't know if you know this, you probably did, your 100th film.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow. And you played such a range of characters. You know, I was just looking at a list of some of the different roles you played. Here you go. So, detective, of course, Jedi,
Jedi.
Lion,
Lion.
What was the lion again? What was...
the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, in the Lion, the Witch.
He's the Lion.
He's the lion.
He's the Lion. Who played the Wardrobe? You've been a god, Christian god. You've been a Christian god. You've been a Greek god.
Sure.
Jesuit priest.
Yeah. A few times.
Murdering priest.
Yeah.
You were a priest in The Simpsons. Different sort of priest. Catholic priest.
Yeah.
You've played Jesus Christ.
Sure. Yeah.
He says, sure. Like, you played a good cop. You played a bad cop.
Yeah.
Ex-CIA agent.
Yes.
Ex-FBI agent.
Yeah, a few times.
Ex-NYPD cop.
A few times.
Ex-hitman.
Yeah,
Sheriff.
many times.
Admiral. Raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
He was a raccoon in the nut job.
I was miscast. I really was.
Do you have, though, looking back, which are the parts you look back on most fondly? Which are the roles or the performances you gave that fill you with the most pride or you are most fond of?
Jonathan, I've loved all of them. You know, some of the movies were so-so. Some were very good, I thought. But I've always come away with a positive.
Yeah. The food's good as well, Liam, isn't it? I've only been on a movie set a couple of times, but the food was fantastic.
Yeah.
The fact that it's just there, the van rumbles in, you go up the little steps, you get what you want. It's always a nice choice of 3 or 4 things.
Mel?
It's true. Yes.
What were you doing on a movie set, apart from stealing food from the hard-working crew and actors? Have you made films?
No, they were filming round the corner from
So you
where
just
I
went
live.
and joined their...
I had a look. I was walking the dog, and they were very friendly, and they let me come in and, yeah.
Liam, you know, it's such an interesting career you've had because I knew you as a character actor, but a leading actor who did very intense character roles for 20 years, and then you had that change of direction when you did the Taken movies.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly you were an action hero, which was no one really saw coming.
No, I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
And that first Taken movie, actually, we shot it 16 years ago this month. We started. But I thought it was straight to video. But I read the script and I was eventually offered it. It was 3 months in Paris, not too shabby.
Lovely.
Great stunt guys.
Good food? Good food?
Imagine the French catering, Mel.
Oh, stop it. Was it French?
Well, he was in Paris.
Agree.
Of course it was French.
How lovely.
How many? You made 3 Taken movies, is that right?
I did 3,
you
yeah.
made. Any thought of going back and doing another one? So popular one? No?
But Maggie Grace, who plays my daughter, a wonderful girl, and we're really good friends, she's since got married and had a baby. So I've sent her many texts. And, Maggie, stay with me. Okay, the baby gets taken. You're going to scream a lot, but don't worry, I'll save the baby.
I'll sort it out. I was wondering, because when you get older, of course, it might be that something isn't taken. Maybe he's just forgotten where he put it. You know? So you could have a whole one where you're just looking for your
Exactly.
keys.
My Zimmer friend.
I know they're here somewhere. Stop doing your voice. I apologise.
No,
let's talk about Marlowe. Marlowe has you working with the great director Neil Jordan, who you've known for many, many years, of course. Tell us about the story. Tell us about the plot.
Marlowe is Philip Marlowe, who's a private investigator, first written about, invented by Raymond Chandler.
Great Chandler.
Yeah.
In the 40s. You know, it's a bit shady, but has a code of ethics. I think.
But he's kind of an honest man in a dishonest world, isn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
Yeah, I love those books. I read them all,
And
I think.
it's set, our film set in 1938, 1939.
Let's have a look at Marlowe. This is Marlowe, as I said, it's at the cinemas now, and you can see it on Sky Cinema as well, and it's a great late 30s, early 40s private eye thriller. Look at this. So there's action in it as well, but it's not really an action film. It's more kind of mystery.
No, I don't.
That's a great line as you leave the room there after beating those guys up.
Yeah, I have to take credit for that because we did a few takes and I was like, here we go again. And there was quite a distance between disposing of the last guy and the door that I exit. I thought, I have to say something between here and there, you know. I thought, yeah, I'm getting too old for this. And Neil said, yeah, keep it. I like that.
You know, as we were talking to Bella earlier about, no spoilers here, but you can work it out. Most people die in Game of Thrones, and Bella does die in it. I don't know, did you watch Game of Thrones?
I did, I loved it.
So do you remember her death?
No,
Okay.
that's because upset me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Could you remind us of your death was you were killed by a larger person?
A giant. Yeah, well, I killed him back.
Yes.
That was the thing. He, like, lifted me. When we shot it, it was a giant robotic claw.
Well, I was curious whether you were actually,
Yeah,
were you just
cool.
suspended in a, oh, they made the model of it?
They've made, it was just a green, like, claw thing that was programmed to shake me around like a giant. Strapped into, like, a bicycle seat harness. With, like, having to, like, put my own blood in my mouth. I was, like, 20 foot up in the air. It was great.
Well, you have to be careful, though. I mean, have you ever been injured on a set?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rob Roy, Tim Roth stabbed me in the hand. With
He does have a temper. No, that was an accident, presumably.
It was an accident. But Tim has a version of it, and I have a version of it. He says, well, he because of our schedule on that film,
Yeah.
I was only able to rehearse it on Saturdays. Tim had more time off and he was able to rehearse it, always with the stunt guy. But when we got together to shoot it, we had actually really only rehearsed it maybe twice.
Not enough.
No.
Oh my God.
And Tim has some lunging action and got me right in that. Like there was white stuff pouring out. And he has never once said, I'm sorry. Seriously.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should find him. Talk to him about it.
We were good pals, Tim.
I got a special set of skills.
Used to have.
Liam, are you sick of people saying that? The thing from Taken?
It's a compliment, I guess, you know.
Because the films are so much fun. The people who love them, we love them. I've seen it loads of times.
But I have to say, when we were doing that scene, the speech to me, little monologue over the telephone, I just, this is so trite. It's been said so many times. I've got a particular set of skills, and when I find you, give me a second, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. You know, I was like, please, can we cut up?
But you know what? If you had delivered it
and
like
the director
that...
said, trust me, it's going to work.
Yeah, because if you read it like that, we wouldn't have liked it. But it's the way you do it, because you have that serious tone, and it feels very real.
Yeah. It seemed to work, you know.
Yeah.
It struck a chord.
So if you'd have wanted to do the shortened version, thinking that was too long, what would you have said, do you think? What do you think the character...
There's too many F words, I can't say it.
Yeah. So like a real dad responding in that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Liam, it's always so lovely to have on the show, and I hope you're going to stick around for the rest of it.
Sure, buddy.
OK, Liam Neeson's going to be with us for the rest of the show, ladies and
Lovely.
gentlemen. So don't go away, because up next we'll be joined by the very funny Munya Chawawa. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out there. He was nominated for a BAFTA for his show Race Around Britain and won Best Breakthrough Comedian at last year's National Comedy Awards. It's Munya Chawawa. Let's go. Very good. Thank you. Come on in, Carol. Okay, long time no see. Sit down, Munya. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Last time I met you, you were dressed as a giant aubergine.
Yes, that's correct.
This was... let's have a look at a picture. This is when you're dressed as
Oh,
an
wow. This is your Halloween party?
Yes.
Now, I had really badly timed my outfits. I didn't have an outfit ready, so I ordered this. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I can't inflate this in the car, because one rogue sharp object, the whole thing's going down. So I get onto the road where I can see your party, and there's packs everywhere. So I'm like, I need to be in costume. I haven't inflated my aubergine. So...
Not a phrase you should say in front of women you don't know terribly well.
Was it a foot pump job? Was it one of those?
You could do it that way. You know, people do it differently. So it's raining, so I'm thinking, I need to inflate the costume before I hit the paparazzi.
Yeah.
The only place open was a library. So I went into the reception of the library, and the receptionist was Spanish, and there was no one outside. She was getting ready to close down. The only thing I could say to her was, do you mind if for 5 minutes I inflate my aubergine? And I was kicked out.
So you kind of represent to me, it's like a new wave of comedians coming through who come through, they don't come through the way people used to do. They come through by generating their own content online and get noticed that way. And that's kind of the way you've kind of entered the consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I really wanted to get into TV. I was trying every single avenue. You know, I tried doing fashion vlogging, I tried doing normal blogging, and I said to myself, look, let me just make a sketch. And I made these sketches, and they start to take off, the wheels start to turn slowly. Yeah. So then I thought, let me keep doing them and see what happens. And yeah, the rest is history.
You turn them around really quickly, don't you?
So I opened Twitter one day, and I saw jerk rice was trending. Now I'm thinking to myself, what on earth is jerk rice? Because, you know, I come from a mixed race family, so my mum's white, my dad's black, so sometimes there was that cultural fusion. Yeah. I'd turn up to dinner, we'd be having shepherd's jerk, right?
Because jerk chicken is the traditional dish, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm seeing now that Jamie Oliver's made jerk rice in a packet, and I'm on the bus and I'm thinking, what would it be like if this man made a whole Caribbean meal? So I'm portraying the character, so I was Jamie Oliver's cousin, Johnny Oliver, and I'm like, cool, if he hears rum punch, he's probably going to punch some rum. Punch the rum, put it in a glass. Jerk chicken, people sometimes wash their chicken. I'm like, cool, I'm taking a step further, get the Dettol spray out, give it a few squirts, right? Remove all the germs. And all of a sudden, I've got this completely inedible meal. I post it online, and it goes crazy.
And so, has Jamie Oliver, by the way, did Jamie Oliver ever see the Johnny Oliver sketch? Do you know what his response was?
Somebody said to me that he liked it. You know, even a lot of politicians, I've heard that they've seen the videos as well. You know, one time I came out of the Brit Awards and I was about to leave.
Yeah.
And then Matt Hancock came out at the same time.
Uh-oh.
So now we're going down the escalator. Now, John, you know this. You leave one step between the person in front of you.
Minimum. Minimum.
Chevrons.
You see what I'm saying?
2 chevrons.
It's like being on the
always.
motorway.
Thank you.
Escalators
Chevrons.
are the motorway. I look round, this man is breathing down my neck.
He does get too close.
Very close. I was like, OK, I don't want to talk to him, but maybe I should get a selfie. This could be iconic. I took up my phone, and then I thought, you know what? As a rule, I don't take dick pics, so I put it away.
Yeah. Tell me about the character you do, who's kind of... Is he a rapper? Is he a drill artist? Unknown P.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, I used to live in Zimbabwe, and when I moved to England, my parents thought, right, where's the least likely place my son's going to join a gang, OK? So we moved to a village in Norwich called Framingham Pigott. Literally, badgers were the only form of diversity we had. So when I moved to London, I'm now like, OK, drill's taken over, it's going huge. But then I started to see, you know, peers of mine, people I was getting on my radio show at the time, making this music that they loved, and it was being demonised in the press. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. The thing is, there are posh kids singing these songs. They're being sung in private schools. So let me see what the response is if I make a posh drill rapper.
Yeah.
Then is it more acceptable? So I put on a flat cap, some wellies. You know, that's middle class 101.
Yeah.
And I started doing posh drill.
This is a little burst of Unknown P for you.
What in the bumba? A middle-class daily duppy? I don't believe it. Mildred, pop over in the slow, would you? I haven't been this excited since Crufts in 2008. Unknown P. I copped a yacht in the sail, running down ops, chefing up quails. Never chase females because it just gets long like Diggity's nails. If you point the finger like E.T., I'm spraying up rats like Banksy graffiti. And now man's stressed because I got the ting pressed to his chest like a GP. I make more peas than a doctor, and I'm sat front row in a box at the opera. Call my new ting Priya cause man pre her like her last name's Chopra. She's working class but peng though. I switch up girls Nintendo. She stays a night but I make her leave in the AM skengdo. I'm a middle class shotter.
You mentioned growing up in Zimbabwe, but you were born in Derby, weren't you?
Unfortunately, yes.
So born in Derby, and then you spent much of your youth in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And then came back here. What did you do? What was your childhood like? What's growing up in Zimbabwe like?
It was a life where we made our own adventures, OK? So in England, yeah, when you guys took a bath, you probably had, like, you could watch the TV, you could have, like, electronics and stuff. We didn't really have that. So one thing I used to do to form my own adventures was, before I'd have a bath, I would cover the entire bath in Vaseline, right? And then, well, hang on.
Are you sure you want to tell this story?
Yeah. OK, one of my most prominent memories of Zim is before I used to have a bath, I used to cover the whole bath in Vaseline, and I used to stand up and see how long I could surf in the bath, right? That was a competition. I played with myself. One day it went really wrong, OK? So we went to this lodge where there were loads of animals. The whole reason you go to this lodge is because animals roam freely.
Amazing.
Right?
Nice.
Amazing.
So I've gone in there, I've run a bath, I've put some Vaseline in it. I'm on holiday, all right?
How much Vaseline were you carrying?
And I stood up in the bath, and all of a sudden my mum knocked. She was like, "Man, there's elephants walking outside." And there was a parade of elephants walking through the middle of the villas.
Wow.
So I've stood up now, and I've slipped, and I've gone straight onto the toilet seat.
Wow.
Which was
On your
covered
head.
with Vicks Vapor Rub. But that's a fascinating insight into your life.
The point to take from that, Jonathan, is I had a lot of fun in Zimbabwe.
You had a lot of
We
fun.
had a lot of adventures.
It sounds like a lot of fun, but it sounds like you were quite lonely, perhaps.
That's a fair point.
Because that's quite a lot of planning to basically vass up a bath.
OK, watch. Hang on. So before we alienate me here, you lot never played weird games as kids?
Not with Vaseline.
Yeah, OK, fine. Minus the Vaseline, what did you play?
I had a club under the laurel bush at the back of the garden.
This is good.
But were there other members?
I think one.
No.
I think...
I had a two-member club.
Did you?
Mine was called the Rude Club.
The Rude.
Rude.
Oh, Rude.
And
The
from
Rude
Horrid
Club.
Henry, and we would talk about the rude words that we knew. And the rudest one I could come up with was toilet.
Toilet. How old were you then?
Probably about 7.
7. Toilet.
I like
While
the
you were
rude
coming up with toilet, he was greasing himself up. Now, Munya's going on tour, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting news. When's the tour? Has it started already?
Amazing.
When does it start?
Tour starts in October.
October.
And it's exciting because I'm going to get to bring my characters to life.
So people will see the characters they've enjoyed online.
100%. And, you know, I got to connect with people over lockdown and stuff when my sketches were really blown up, but there's so many people I haven't met. You know, there's so many people from all over who have supported me and, you know, got me here that I just want to get out there and have a bit of FaceTime, you know?
That's nice to meet the people who've kind of helped you get where you are.
100%. 100%.
Which you kind of don't always get. You don't get in film so much, do you, really? Unless you know, because you put it out there and then you're not involved as much.
Yeah.
Well, especially being in something with such a loyal fan base like the Star Wars movies. But do you get a lot of the Star Wars love?
Yeah, there has been, yeah. I just...
I can see you love it.
No, I like doing that one, but it was 26 years ago.
Was the Jedi costume rough to the touch? Was it quite... Or was it nice and... Do they line it with something?
No,
I always...
you had sort of silky kind of underwear, you know.
Don't spoil Star Wars for us. I don't think the Jedi's having a fight and he's wearing silk pants. I want them to be wearing Hessian.
I want rough, yeah.
I remember, sorry, I find the kid that's going to eventually be Darth Vader.
Oh,
and
Anakin.
Anakin. And I have a scene where I'm telling him that he's special. And I forget the lines, but I had this thing, midi-chlorian. So I went over to George Lucas and said, George, what the F am I saying? Well, what's a midi-chlorian? And I remember George said, OK, you know in your gut, you have millions of bacteria. I said, yeah. OK, one of those has an intelligence. And then he laughed. And I was like, that's the only piece of direction I got in the whole movie. Midi-chlorians.
Made no sense whatsoever, did it? OK, so, Munya, what's the tour called?
Probably called Vaseline Baths, The Adventures. Live action.
And which one of your characters will we see on stage? Which ones are you doing?
We're going to see Johnny Oliver, probably, Unknown P, Barty Crease, the newsreader.
And who's your go-to character? If people want, you know, is going to get people laughing.
I mean, people like a bit of Nigella, and that's crazy because...
Oh, you do Nigella?
I do Nigella, yeah.
Wow.
Could you do a bit of Nigella for us? There?
Well, if there was like a T-shirt hanging around somewhere.
What, a black T-shirt? There we go. I've seen your Nigella. You're going to be amazed. It's like Nigella's in the room with you.
It's uncanny.
Let's do Beans on Toast.
OK.
All right, here we go.
Hold it, you normally have music, don't you?
Yeah, I do have some music.
I think we have the music, so we can really...
OK, here we go. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be making beans on toast, and I love this meal because you can just pop it in and be finished in a matter of seconds. To start with, you're going to need a luscious loaf. Now be careful, as some of the pieces may clump together, so you might have to separate the flaps. Next up, some of the pieces may get a little parched, so you will need some butter. Some people only use a little bit, but I always like a big chunky knob.
I can't do any more. That's enough. You got the idea. OK. So you want to see Nigella and all the other characters, go along and see it on tour. We're going to take a break, but don't go away because we've got more from my guest and Lady Blackbird performing here at the end of the show. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show. I'm still here with all my guests, of course. Liam, am I right in thinking you almost made a film, I don't think you did, with one of my other cinematic heroes, Jackie Chan?
They sent me a script and said, Jackie Chan's doing this, going to shoot in China. And I read the script and it was like back-to-back action for like 22-year-olds. I was like, No, dude, I'm 70 years of age.
It's all fake, though, anyway, isn't it?
No, but this was from page 1 to page 90. It was just all.
So, is that what you look for in a film? First of all, you look about how little work you have to do.
Yeah, the days off.
Mel's about to host the Eurovision. We can't wait to see Mel do it, can we? You're co-hosting Eurovision. Although, I am going to say, I hope you do a better job than some of the other hosting shows I've seen. In particular, you were involved rather bizarrely in commentating for Miss World.
Oh, dear.
So you did the Miss World competition. When was this?
Gang.
How did this come about?
It was not good. It was 1999, and I was asked to do the live commentary for Miss World. So in the Earl's Court arena and also going into people's homes on the telly. And it was very, very vague. I pitched up in the morning and I said, I'm here to do the commentary. And nobody really sort of knew what to do with me. They just said, there's a microphone upstairs and there's a crate of Stella next to the microphone. Good luck. But it was literally that. There were no notes on any of the contestants. There was nothing. So it was absolute insanity.
And so you didn't know anything about the women? You didn't know...
Not really. And it was before the days where you could look people up on the phone or anything like that. The research was scant.
Right.
So I just made stuff up. Basically.
Good for you.
So what sort of things did you say when the people walked out who were taking part in the competition?
It was literally Miss Kenya, looking amazing. She studied metallurgy at Reading University. she then went on to have a career in fine art, and it was literally that. It was carnage.
And so did you get away with it afterwards? Did they not talk to you about the job you'd done? I mean, did you get paid?
I got paid, and I think there was some slightly ferocious write-ups in some of the tabloids the next day about this surreal commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sub-Alan Partridge.
You know what, Mel, we have something.
Oh, don't. No,
No,
I
but
can't
it's
take
kind
this.
of amazing because it's such a weird ceremony, which I don't know if they even do it anymore. Do they do
I
this
can't.
one?
I actually.
don't know.
I'm going to have to take the position. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go behind this.
No, Mel, it's not that bad. You come out as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe, I don't know. Let's have a look. So this is 1999, you think?
Yes.
OK.
Earl's Court.
Miss World competition, Earl's Court commentary, bizarrely, by Mel Giedroyc. Have a look at this.
Jenny Chervoni coming back to join her fellow Israeli. She's one of the final 5. She's looking dead cool. I wonder how she's feeling inside. Slightly tense. Who knows? She's looking great. Miss Liberia, Deba Tubman, not showing a whiff of nerves, I have to say. If I was up there, I'd be all over the shop. Indeed, Miss Venezuela, gliding through like a lovely swan.
Amazing. You see?
So bad.
I love it.
Guys, can I just say?
Gliding like a swan.
It's really
So,
cool.
but
It's
no,
cool.
but no information there. No sort of.
You just make it all up.
I promise you, by this May, I'll be better than that for the. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Even if that's all you do at Eurovision, it will still be great.
That's true.
OK?
There was no research.
Yeah.
It was great, though. You were confident. There was not a whiff of
Gliding
nerves.
like...
And using words
Cool. That sounds so wrong as well, doesn't it?
happy.
No,
That's perfect.
No, Liam, God
No.
bless you. Thanks
It's
for
perfect,
that.
honestly.
Bruce
The audience don't want to hear a bunch of information.
I like that from Liam because there was not a whiff of sincerity about that. Will you join me in saying thank you to all my guests this evening? Thank you so much. Thanks to all my guests. We'll be back next week. We have, from Succession, Brian Cox will be here. Ruth Wilson is on the show. The brilliant Greg Davis. Jasmine Sawyers is here. Arlo Parks is doing music. And Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston will be joining us as well.
Wow.
But now, with Woman, it's the phenomenal Lady Blackbird.